Alright, so now let's talk about using dot notation in MongoDB queries. So right here we have a document from Reddit, and actually if you look at it, for some documents we have a field called media with another subfield called oembed, and down here we have a type video. So just for documents that are videos, we actually have this nested structure. So the question is, how do we find these documents, and how do we make queries based on fields in the oembed object, even though it's nested? Because if we did a query just on type, we wouldn't have any way of knowing whether it was a type up here in the top level document. So let's go and see how we actually do that. Alright, so this is an example of using dot notation with the Node.js driver. So most of this is the same as our other examples. The only thing we've really changed is our query. So notice here in our query we say media.oembed.type and with a value of video. So, much like the $sign for the special query operators, the dot is actually another special character in MongoDB. Dot basically says descend into nested document. So in this case media is a document, and we have a dot here. We say descend into the media document, look for oembed. And then we have another dot saying oembed is actually a document. Look for a type field in the oembed document. And then check if that field has the value of video. So down here we're actually going to do a projection. We're going to remove _ID, and we're only going to get media.oembed.url. So this is actually going to remove all the fields in the top level that aren't oembed, and remove all the fields in the oembed document that aren't URL. So media.oembed.url is the only actual value we'll get back. So down here, we're doing another query. We're actually doing the Reddit front page because it had videos on it. And we're iterating the documents, logging them to console. Let's just run this, verify that it works. Alright, so we ran our application, and it turned out the front page only had one video. But here it is. We have the media oembed URL, that's our projection. All the other fields in the oembed document, and all the other fields in the media document, and all the other fields in our top level document have all been filtered out. So this is what we get back. And note, if this field actually didn't exist, we would just get back an empty document. And also note that for fields that we queried on that didn't actually have media.oembed.type, when we queried on them in our application, those just weren't matched by the query. So this kind of shows that we can make queries even if we don't know whether the field will exist in all the documents. Alright, so this is the quiz about using dot notation in a query selector. Your task for this quiz is to use dot notation to construct a query that selects for a document with a name of Steve in the students array. Put your answer in the box below. So to make this more specific, I have an example of a document that should match the query. So your goal is to find a query that matches this document because it's looking for a name of Steve inside the students array. And you'll need to use dot notation to actually build this query.